if they do it well, they will stay our customers for a longer period of time, because that churn number is inappropriately high for us. Okay. So the key takeaways in the work that we've done, and this graph only shows part of the story, because we have additional graphs that show the layover of our IYP products, that will ultimately show the layover of the search products. So we're building a mosaic, a picture of essentially where the traffic is in each one of those categories, how much of it there is, where it's coming from, and we are able to actually map it back to the categories that we're serving and the needs in those categories in ways that we couldn't even possibly imagine doing even 2 years ago. And we are, I would say, probably 20% or 25% through the analytic journey that we're going to be taking over the next 2 years in order to really build a composite picture of what does the demand map look like in our marketplace across all of these different media. What are the characteristics of the advertisers in terms of the balance between presentation and transactional products that we need to deliver to them. So the key takeaways, as I said before, is that the traffic hasn't vanished, and also that there is now really a stampede. There are a lot of categories like travel and insurance, where there's no question about the fact that the bulk of the traffic has moved over to the internet, because you can't do price comparison in a print yellow pages book. All right? But there are lots and lots of categories where we're doing very well, where we actually are seeing no decline at all, and some categories where paradoxically we're seeing a modest increase in traffic. And as we begin to shift the structure of the book over the next couple of years, we believe that we'll be able to capture more of the traffic that is stable, and we will be able to build in more of that traffic over on the IYP side and through other types of distribution products that we sell to our advertisers. So in essence, it's more a picture of media equilibrium, of understanding where the traffic has gone, making the deals to go get that traffic, understanding how effective it is from a conversion point of view by metering the traffic so that we can come back to the advertisers and show them, oh, that vertical site sounds good, but it actually costs you more money than print does, but because your lead requirements are so high, you should buy both of them because you can absorb the number of leads that they collectively deliver. The second one is that proven value, in the context that traditional Yellow Pages publishers have used it, is kind of an oxymoron, because it is much more an issue of the type of value that is being delivered, i.e., is it transactions or is it presentations? The advertiser's perception of it, do I think that most of my business comes through renewal? Because if I do, through word of mouth, because if I do, your leads are less important to me, okay? And the advertiser's ability to actually convert the leads. So there are a lot of variables that are working here that basically don't line up against the kind of traditional assertions that we've made to our advertisers. And so I guess what I'm saying is that when we talk about transparency, the way that we normally talk about it is we're going to be transparent about the leads that we deliver to you and their costs. But in truth, the transparency goes much further than that, because what will happen over the course of time, and it's happening now, is that we'll have a good idea of how effective that advertiser is, and we will make that information available to them, and we will be able to basically, kind of peel away the layers of the onion for our customers in ways that we haven't traditionally been able to do that. So really ROI in that sense and proven value is going to be a combination of our ability to help the business convert the leads better, our ability to help them buy the right kinds of leads, and our ability to actually prove that we delivered the leads that they bought from us.
3 minutes, Mark.
Okay. All right. So the third part of this is that educating the advertisers, at the end of the day, is going to wind up being a lot more important for us than it has been in the past. Because basically, what we see in our research is our advertisers. First of all, they all talk about the fact that they measure ROI, but as Denat said, a very small percentage of them, less than 20%, do. And so we have a pretty significant challenge in terms of basically bringing our advertisers up to a level of understanding that will allow us to sell more leads to them than they're buying from us today. And the last point is that unbundling the additional value associated with the turnkey presentation product part of the business is actually going to wind up being an important part of the mix for us long term. Okay, so the profit part of it, look, I mean, it's still there. There's lots of money to be made here if we do the right things, from a performance point of view in terms of our own business. But it ultimately all comes down to customer profitability. This is a business that has been for years run on top-line revenue, okay, increasing sales at the expense of everything else, that has to shift very quickly to a customer profitability model, because we're going to wind up selling more and more media that we don't own, and the margin structures are going to be different, and the cost structures are going to be different. And that is the second part of it, is the cost of ownership associated with owning that customer. Lifetime value is going to be at the center of that customer profitability, and therefore cost of ownership, which is really going to be expressed through having to contact the customer more frequently, almost continuously in some cases, through a variety of channels, is going to wind up being a big part of profitability for our businesses. The third part is the issue that I talked about before, which is extracting more value from things that we have traditionally given away in the presentation side. And the last part is the relationship value, the establishing, managing, and grooming our customer base so that they don't leave us, so that they trust us and they buy more from us than they do today. Because every customer that we have, does not spend anywhere near as much money as they really could with us if they actually understood what they were getting from us and we were helping them convert those leads into meaningful business. Okay, so last slide. Where does this all lead? I mean, essentially, if you look at this from a kind of product architecture and a sales model architecture, we're moving from a product-centric sale model, publisher-centric, fixed inclusion, no ROI transparency, annual contract model, into a transaction and presentation sales model where we are much more of a packager and much more media neutral than we have been in the past, where we sell packages of products that span print, online yellow pages, search, and other types of media, depending on the needs of our advertisers, where the ROI is transparent in those cases where it needs to be, because in some cases it doesn't, okay? But more to the point, where it is transparent, is very measurable and very predictable in terms of our ability to commit to and deliver the number of leads that we say we will. And it's going to wind up being much more flexible, which is going to bring a lot of heartache to the finance departments and the forecasting people, but it is a fact of life in terms of the environment that we're working in. From a sales perspective, it's going to really change the sales model, because we're going to move from a canvas-based model to a model that has a much more articulated channel strategy in which we move our customers from the sale through a series of capacity expansion and capacity management channels to get them to an ECRM relationship, over a period of time, because this is the only way that we're going to be able to control our costs. So the challenges for the sales organizations for all of us are going to be pretty extreme, because basically we teach people how to do one thing really well today, and we're going to have to retrain our sales forces to become media neutral, needs-based sales forces, and to basically distribute that activity across multiple sales channels in a way that we can control, understand it, and measure. So I think I'm inside of my 3-minute window here. Thank you very much. I appreciate your listening to me today.